Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Grand Final Week of 2020. This is the Look Finance SEQFC preview show with thanks to Vilic Law. I'm Darren Lutton, and welcome to the FQPL show. The Grand Final is this Friday between Logan Lightning and Southwest Queensland Thunder. We thought we'd have a little chat about it. We've got our regular Lliam. Good evening, Lliam.
Hey guys, how are you? You bring a bit more excitement than what Joey would, mate. What's going on?
It's Grand Final. We've got to pump it
up. Joey's much more professional.
It also means one more week of shows to put together. So looking forward to the end there. Anyway, there's been lots of fun. Lots of fun. All right, now let's bring the coaches in. We've got Rick Coghlan from Logan. Good evening, Rick.
Good evening. Thank you for having me on.
You're most welcome, and congratulations on your league win this season.
Thank you. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated.
Right, we'll come to that shortly. We've also got Jason Hall. Jason, what's your title at the Thunder again? You're the General Manager, Head Honcho, CEO, Technical Advisor. Is that it?
Let's go with all those, yeah. Technically, I'm the Director on the board for football performance, so...
All right, very good. I like my title better, though. You should run with that.
Can we say that?
All-round nice guy or what? What is it? Just asking me, tell you.
All right, let's get to the semi-finals on the weekend. So I was at Cornubia on the weekend for the match between Logan Lightning and Wolves. I was there for the first half anyway. Rick, Wolves came out firing, got the first goal after 5 minutes, and they looked really good early on, but you just seemed to gradually work your way into it. You got your equalising goal, stalemate in the second half, and then overpowered them in extra time. Is that an accurate reading of the game?
Yeah, that's really fair. They started out the blocks and they really put us under pressure, and much the same, we probably started a little bit slower than we would have liked. But yeah, it took us a little bit of time to build into the game, get our foot in the game, and get control of it. And obviously, once we got the equaliser, then it was just it was anyone's game. It was back and forward, and a real semi-final contest, I think, in one of those final series. So yeah, tough game, very tough game, and it took us the extra 30 minutes. But obviously, really pleased to have got over in the end.
Do you have a moment of self-reflection during these games, going, "This is why I'm coaching. I absolutely love this"?
For sure, I think certainly last week at Mitchelton more than anything. But yeah, of course, like that goal at the end from Connor Smith, where it was a breakaway, and I think the breakaway goal in extra time to send you through to the grand final. It was a fantastic moment for all of us involved. So they're the little moments that we want to remember for sure. Yeah.
We'll come back to you winning the league title in a moment. Let's move to the other semi-final, though. Lliam, you were there at the game.
I was, yes, front and centre. Once I moved out of the sun, it was a bit of a killer there, but enjoyed the hamburger and the wood-fired pizza there. It was good, yeah.
Take us through it with Jason.
Oh, Jason, mate, you seem to have it pretty well over Mitchell in the first half. I thought you guys were very, very aggressive. Second half, however, Mitchelton turned it around, so it was a good game there. What was your take on it?
Yeah, look, it was a pretty tight game. It was best described as a finals game. I think similar to what Rick said with the game that his team was in. That we knew that they were going to come at us and try something different. Obviously, we beat them 5-0 a couple of weeks ago, and they certainly had a bit of a different game plan. It was quite a physical game, as you said. There was. Yeah. They moved Jacob Mengotti into the midfield there to mark Pasquale for the whole game. Yeah. So there was quite a lot of fouls in the game. But
yeah, there was actually. There was very aggressive tackling and in that first half. And look, I believe you had your presentation night for some of the junior boys as well there before the game. Was that right?
Yeah, we had the presentation for all of our juniors, so boys and girls. Yeah,
okay.
That's right. So leading into the game, so we made sure we had a pretty good crowd there. So
yes, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It was a great crowd there. Very well supported there, obviously by the community. So no, it was very good to see.
Yeah, no, that's right. We've had great support actually at all of our home games this year. I mean, we started with 7 games at home, I think, and then we had 10 in a row on the road. So 3 or 4 now at home.
Yeah,
we've had fantastic crowds. It's and you sort of heard the stadium there rocks when they all
it
get
was
noisy.
good.
So
Yeah,
good.
no, it was good. I thought, yeah, Mitchelton in that second half, they were really giving it to you, and I think they hit the crossbar that could have made it 2-1. I think with about 5 to go. So your boys certainly held on in the end there. Very good defence. They tried their best to get in behind you, but you held fast.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of teams have probably underestimated our defence a little bit this year. I mean, we've obviously scored the most goals in the league this year, but I think it's been our defence that's really won us a lot of our games. We haven't conceded in the last 5 games now, at all against some pretty decent teams. So yeah, no, they defended quite well. But Mitchelton, they, as we said, they played a different style. They really pressed high and didn't let us play the football that we like to play. So we had to play a little bit longer, a bit more direct, and in the second half, they had a few chances, but Pierce Clark is outstanding in goals. I think he's the best goalkeeper in not playing A-League in the country from my view, and he's actually been trialling with Brisbane Roar the last couple of weeks, so he might have an A-League contract pretty soon.
Oh, that'd be nice. So he was probably your standout player for the match. Do you think? Was there anyone else you?
I think, him and probably Pasquale DeVita had one of his best games in attack. His goal at the end of the game. I don't know if you're still there for the second goal, but that was pretty magic. He sort of commanded, but it was really, apart from that, it was really just a good team performance. It was really everyone did their job. I think, and those wins are probably a little bit more satisfying than some of the ones where you're running 5 or 6 goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Liam, I'll get your take on Clive Burkhoff Stadium. I think probably Sunshine Coast Stadium is the only one that can match it for quality.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think when you get that crowd in, especially underneath that covered area, that large covered area, the sound underneath there, especially when they scored a few goals there last Saturday, it was certainly it was amazing. Plus, you got, as you know, you got all the other seats kind of dotted around the place as well, and it's a nice little stadium. That it should be I think it should be used more at high level football, whether it's football or league. They've certainly got a good thing going up there for sure.
You betcha. All right, Rick.
Yes.
The curse is broken.
It is.
Yeah, well done, Rick. Well done, mate.
Thank you. Sorry?
Was it ever mentioned?
I think by you guys enough. I think you certainly wouldn't let that die down. But no, I think internally we just tried to focus, just keep our head on obviously the objective and keep ploughing forward. That's all we could do. So yeah, we didn't really try and let it come into our mind too much.
I'll just get your take on the Rochdale game on the Wednesday before where you lost 2-0.
Yep.
I think everyone in the football community just went, oh, here we go.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you imagine Smitchy?
Absolutely. Look, at the one against Rochdale, it was just, we could have played for another month and we wouldn't have scored. It just wasn't going to happen. It was that sort of night where it was probably too much hype, too much fanfare, too much what if we win it at Rochdale, and it was a big moment for both clubs, and it was probably just too much in hindsight. And I think maybe the best thing that ever happened to us was losing that, was taking the pressure off, just regrouping, talking before Mitchelton game, and just saying let's just go get another good crack. And I think we put on a bit of a show on the following game against Mitchell.
Rick, I don't know what your thoughts, but I've said to the guys a couple of times on the show that apart from Logan, of course, I thought Rochdale were the toughest team in the league. They certainly gave us the toughest games both times we played them, and I mean the second time we did beat them 3-0, but they could have won that game. It was, I think their only thing is they just lack that real. Greg Cheshire is obviously really good up front, but they just don't have the number of goal scorers that probably your team and Thunder have got. But apart from that, they're a really solid team.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But I think without saying that we weren't good enough, I don't think that's the correct story. I think Rochdale were fantastic on the night. I really do. I think they really changed how we were expecting them to play. They took the game to us. I thought they were outstanding. So we, by no means do I think we deserve to go and win that game. But like I said, it's all well and good now because we've got the result on the Sunday, so we can look back and say, it is what it is. So yeah, obviously really pleased to have got it over the line and got the club up for the first time. So super happy.
Jace, was there any game leading up to that semi-final, like with the last few weeks of the league, that you're kind of worried about at all? That the club was worried about or looked at harder, like studied hard? Are
you talking to me or Jason? Sorry.
No, Jason. Sorry.
No, not really. I mean, the one game that was the big game for us was obviously the game against Logan down at Coghlan Park. That was sort of the game, and we both probably knew. I think if talking to Rick, that whoever won that game was probably going to be the team that won it. I think it would have been tough if we had won that game for Logan to get there, and if Logan didn't win it, they wouldn't have got there. So that was sort of the game. I mean, I know we lost to Sunny Coast the week after, but that wasn't a hangover. It was just 4 o'clock in the heat at Sunny Coast, and they played. They're a tough side too. They're well structured. They just once again don't have a lot of goals in them, but they scored 2 blinders against us, and we just couldn't score. So
I think that was a big turning moment in the season. I think in that 2-week period we managed to obviously overcome South West Queensland, and then the following week to back it up against Wolves, who are just such a tough team to beat on their day. So that was two really difficult wins, 6 massive points, and on the other side of the coin, South West Queensland obviously lost to us and then lost to Sunny Coast. I think that little fortnight just changed the whole tale of the year for sure.
Yeah, that was that was kind of our the Sunny Coast game. I think was our 9th away game in a row. So the boys were getting tired by then. So it just came at a bad time, But yeah, look, Logan was really the game. That was the match that was up for, and it was a good game. Like it was didn't go away disappointed. I don't think.
I've throughout the our shows throughout the year, I brought up a few times about how, and this is directed at Jason again. At the start of the season, you were gifted with about I think 7 home games.
7 in a row. Yeah.
Do you think that spurred you along to get a really good head start, having that home time advantage for the first 7 weeks?
Yeah, of course it does. If you have a look at the record, I mean, I think we only lost the 1 game at home to Rosedale, which was the first game of the year, and we were probably a little bit underdone then. We'd had a lot of wet weather and hadn't had any trial games leading up to that first game. Yeah. But then having all those games at home with good support sort of made the guys believe that they could win. So. Yeah, no, it was definitely a good help. It would have been nicer just to have a few less at the start and maybe not 10 in a row away. that would have been nicer. But I think
I think having those first games, it really gave you a lot of confidence and you could play the way that you wanted to play on your pitch, and I think it certainly gave you a nice little springboard to take on all those away games. So you had a bit of a buffer there straight up. So I mean, it was just a luck of the draw. I think you had to swap with Knights. I think because their ground was wet. I think. Yeah.
No, they had fire ants actually.
Fire ants. That's right. It was.
They were going to reschedule it, but we just contacted them and said, "Look, why don't you just come up the hill?" So they did that, and we gave them the game that we had at the end down there. So
cool.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
All right, let's move on to this Friday night's grand final. What time does it start, guys?
7:30.
7:30.
Yep.
Jason, how are you going to get all your players there on time? Is everyone going to quit work at 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. the day off? How's that going to work for you?
I think a lot of the boys are having Friday off, so we're actually bringing a bus down. We're going to leave at about 3 and get down there sort of nice and early, about 5:30 or so, and just give them time to stretch their legs and whatever. But yeah, I think most of the boys are going to have the day off Friday, and we've got our presentation night on Saturday night as well. So it's going to be a big weekend, I think, regardless of the result.
Have you got supporter buses coming down as well?
Yeah, we've got at the moment we've got one big coach, so 64-seater or something coming down, supporter bus, and if we get enough interest, we'll put a second one on as well.
Would any of you two boys would have liked a hometown final like that's happened over the last so many years with the league, having your own home final? Would you prefer that rather than go to Perry Park?
I think I think we'd both probably say we'd love it at home, but wouldn't like to be playing away at each other's venue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
At home or neutral.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, look, it's obviously a massive advantage, I think, to have a home game. And I think, obviously we think our stadium's the best in the league, but Logan's got a fantastic complex down there now with the big deck they've got on the clubhouse there behind the goals. So it was a great atmosphere playing there as well. But so, yeah, no, it would have been good. But Perry Park's kind of the home of football in Queensland. So
fair enough.
Rick, do you think with the travel that the Thunder have to do, this has got to be an advantage for you guys, right?
No, I wouldn't say so. Not on a grand final day. Not on a grand final day. I think, honestly, anything can happen on a final. I wouldn't really read too much into a little bit of trouble, if I'm being honest, for a one-off occasion. No, not in my mind. But I think, like I say, anything can happen in finals. It's just more about the passion and the desire and the work rate and who turns up on the day, and a lot of luck going your way as well. I think there's so many more things that come into it over a 90-minute final. Or potentially longer, but so many more things are coming into it than tactics and the football side. So no, I think it'll just be a great day for all, whether you're travelling or whether we're 5 minutes up the road. It'll be a good day and hopefully a good event for the people that do come down and watch.
Rick, tell us a little bit about Adam Edgar.
What do you know about him?
Oh well, he's your top scorer this season with 15 goals, so he must have done pretty well for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a handful for any defence, whether it's QPL or MPL. Look, he's a really, really talented lad. He's quick, he's sharp, he's a very good finisher. You can't really have too many complaints to have Adam Edgar up front as your number 9. He's definitely performed over the course of the year, 100%.
And he's been backed up ably by Jed Brown.
Yeah, Jeddy Brown's done really well. He's again, we as a new coach coming in, took a little bit of time to figure out the way I wanted to work with them both. And I think earlier on in the year, there was maybe Jed playing that higher role and Adam just behind him at 10, and maybe sometimes Adam off the left. But over time, you build what you're comfortable with and what is getting success week in, week out. And ultimately, it led to Adam pushing forward into that more centre forward striker role and Jedi behind him as the playmaker. And they've both obviously pulled together and combined 27 odd goals between them. It's a fantastic return over a 20-game season.
We mentioned on the show last week that both you and the Thunder have only used 26 players in your squad this season.
Yeah,
that's got to be a massive advantage for you guys with your combinations. Yeah,
huge. Yeah, I think that's a huge credit for both clubs, not just because we've only gone through X amount of players and because we've managed to have consistency on the park, but I think you have to always ask why. And clearly both clubs have done really well in their injury management programs, in their rehab and getting players back on the field. I think there's so much that goes in behind the scenes that you'd never know about. And you could probably say it's a lot of luck that you only use 26 players, but it's the contrary. You work really hard to build consistency and to make sure your program is as good as it can be. So you're in that position. And we've worked really hard on that, very hard.
Oh, I agree, Rick. We've had past years, we're in the MPL and we used 42 and 44 players, and this year, in fact, we only actually used 24. 2 of the ones on the team sheet actually didn't take the field. One was our reserve goalkeeper who never got on, and another one of the young under 18s that we just put on the bench for an experience. But so we only used 24 players. It was it's the least amount we've used since we've been in the MPL since 2013. So. And it makes a massive difference. It just builds that consistency. And we've still had injuries, but we've been able to cover it with that squad. And they haven't been serious injuries. They've only been out for a week or two and been able to come back in.
Yeah, I think there's a clear correlation between all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes and how you can breed consistency with players available and results. A clear correlation. So I think both teams obviously done really well in managing your squads through the year.
I'll start this question with you, Rick. What are your keys to success? What has to go right this Friday night for you to win the game?
For me, it's a different question for this Friday to the year just gone. I think the year just gone is probably the word we just talked about, is that consistency to turn up to the races every single session, every single game. you might not always get it right, but to have that attitude of week in, week out, you're here to win. That's the only thing. You're not here to take part. And I think that was a big onus that we were on, that we put on the boys this year. I think for a one-off grand final, it's probably the stuff that we talked about earlier. That yes, that dedication, that fight, and that work rate, and that camaraderie in the team, and a hell of a lot of luck. Grand final, I think that will go into it. Either way, I think we as a team will certainly hold our head up high of what we've achieved this year, and hopefully just enjoy the occasion rather than put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I think we're just there to enjoy Friday night and see what comes our way.
Jason,
yeah, look, I just agree with Rick. I think finals are a different thing. I think finals are won on defence, so I think how well we can defend. We've obviously both got a lot of goal scoring options, but yeah, really, I think whoever defends the best. And I think the 1%ers, like the little things. And you asked about Adam Edgar before, and I think he's the type of player that teams hate playing against, but I'm sure he's a guy that you love playing with. But he's probably the reason that Logan have gone up this year, not for his 15 goals, but if we go back to the first game that we played against Logan, we were up 2-1 and looked like winning that game. And I know you can't put it on 1 point, but Adam chased the ball down that most strikers wouldn't have even bothered chasing. Our goalkeeper took a bit of a bad touch and tried to go around him, and he stole the ball off him and put it in the net to get him a point, and or took 2 points off us basically. And that 4-point turnaround, you could look at that and say that was the difference. And once again, I know you can't single it to a single moment, but that's the type of thing that I think wins finals, those efforts. And Brodie Welsh has been our leading goal scorer this year, and he's a similar player to Adam. He just puts in 100% all day, never stops running, and he'll still be chasing through on the goalkeeper in the 93rd minute, and we're hoping that he might drop the ball so he can tap it in. And that's the type of things I think wins your finals. And
you saw it last week in the NPL. We've I think it was Jez
Losthouse, yeah,
the Knights goalkeeper. So it doesn't matter what league you're in, what team you're in. I think if your effort is 150% in minute 1, minute 120, you're putting yourself in the best position to take out a result.
Jason, am I right in saying that this would, if you were successful this Friday, would this be your first bit of silverware as a club?
Not as a club,
no?
as a senior men's team. Yes,
as a senior men's. Well, sorry, that's what
18s.
Of course, that's what I meant. Yeah, senior men's.
Won the premiership about 2 years ago, and we've had a couple of our junior teams have won. But yeah, no, as a men's team, no, we've never made finals before. Our under 19s, when the first year we were in NPL, we didn't have a senior men's team. We were just in the under 19s. Yep. They made the grand final and lost the grand final. So yeah, no, this would be our first silverware.
Well, that's pretty exciting for the club. Really, it is. I mean, it's to win a senior men title. That's certainly a bit of a pressure release as well. So who in the squad do you think needs to step up and take a bit of a leadership role and to try and get that for you? Like who's been part of the club that the boys can look at and go, come on, we need a bit of guidance here.
Yeah, well, we've probably got, I think I've said a couple of times on the show, but apart from our 2 Italian visa players, the other 20, 21 players in our 23-man squad are all locals. So most of our players have been in and around our club for the majority of their careers. We've had a few that have only played locals and have come in, but there's probably a core group of boys that when we first got thrown into the NPL men's team in 2014, they were all 16-year-olds turning 17. So Jacob Bigby, Anthony Grant, Jackson Franken, my son Wade Hall, they've been playing since they were 16-year-old. They're all 23 now. So it's probably those boys that have done all the hard yards and had 3 years without winning a game in men's when they were kids, and they're set. They're now learnt to play. So I think they've kind of been leaders for us. And strangely enough, Mirko Crociati, the Italian centre back, he's our captain, and he's a phenomenal leader. Like, he's such a great player, but also such a great person, and he's like a coach on the field. He just never stops coaching the other players on the field, and he's only 24 himself. So they're probably the key players for us, I think.
What about you, Rick? Anyone in your squad there you think that will need to step up, not to try and take a bit of a leadership role, try and get you over the line? Anyone in particular that you would look at?
Yeah, absolutely. I think straight away you'd much the same as Jason has mentioned. I'd be looking at how much it means to the pre-existing Logan boys before I took over.
Yeah.
So the Jeddy Browns and the Dylan Brents, in terms of those two on the field as team captain and club captain, they really need to show how much it means to them. And I saw how much it meant to win the league and to finally guide the team to the NPL as a pair who have been at Logan all their playing career.
Yeah,
and that's a really great opportunity for them to do the double and to have that on their record. So certainly those two, and then you look around them, and certainly the boys that we brought in for this occasion, the boys that we recruited and targeted for a reason to try and get us promotion, to try and get us silverware, and the Liam Goldings and the Matty Green, the Connor Smiths, of course James Coots, who's the player assistant coach. Jason talks about coaches on the field. He's unreal, and he was unbelievable in the game against Mitchelton in coaching on the field, live in play. He was just outstanding. So certainly another one for Friday night for sure.
Cool.
Liam, I'm going to put you on the spot here, mate.
Yeah.
Who's going to take it out?
Oh, you can't. You can't do that when two of the teams are sitting here in front of me. Look, is this where I say, it could go to extra time and be one in the penalty shootout? I don't know. Look,
be a good spectacle if it was pens.
Yeah, I'd like Toowoomba to get it. I really would, because I think they're a very well supported team up there, and from what as we know from it was reiterated to me on Saturday night how much of a great following that they have up there, and I think it'd be huge for the town. Someone like myself, when being a Western Pride fan, I know that when Pride won it a few years ago, in 2017, that how much it meant to the town and for football in the city. And for Toowoomba to be able to come back with some silverware for the senior men, I think that'd be a fantastic thing for football in Toowoomba and for that whole region. Yeah. Sorry, Rick.
That's okay, mate.
But I have been consistent though, because I was sure since the start of the season that Thunder were going to take it out, even right to the end when you had that lost against Rochdale. I thought, I told you. I said something's brewing. So I was wrong with that. But yeah, I hope they get the final. Yeah, it'd be good.
Rick, has Fred Waters organised some buses for the game this week?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of people behind the scenes who are just looking forward to the day and looking forward to the event, there'll be a good turnout and a good following. Absolutely. I think it was the secondary of what we wanted this year. Of course, promotion was obviously the number one priority. Make no mistakes, but it's a grand final that they don't come around too often for players, coaches, or clubs. So we have to make the most of it and get down and give it a good crack. So there'll be some good support.
And Jason, for those who aren't travelling to the game, will there be a meeting area for residents in Toowoomba to watch the game?
I think most of our fans are coming down, even if they're not coming on the bus, they're driving down on their own. So, I'm not sure. I mean, we all got together as a team and watched the Mitchelton Logan game in hope. That wasn't much fun, that trip, Rick. Thanks for doing that. But so I'm sure if anyone who can't come, they'll be watching on NPL TV. The coverage has been sensational this year. It's been great to be able to watch all the games and go back and have a look at them.
Excellent. All right. Gentlemen, best of luck Friday night. It's going to be a fantastic spectacle. For everyone out there wanting to go to the game, if you book online, we're going to put the link to buy tickets in the thread. It's $10 if you book prior and free for kids. Now, my memory's pretty shady, but I think if you go and buy at the gate, it's $15. I think it was $15 last year and $5 for kids. Don't quote me on that. And it may change again this year. But my understanding is that if you book ahead, it will be cheaper for you. So we'll put the link in the comments section. Get those tickets. Rick, Jason, best of luck Friday night. I hope it's a wonderful spectacle for you and your club members. Liam, thank you for your participation on the show this year. It's been great to have you on board.
No worries. It's been fun. Thank you very much, to Jason and Rick for joining us tonight. And as I say, I've made the best team win, as I say. And but thank you for supplying with us with some great football during the year. There's been some great highlights there. Let's good luck in the NPL next year, Rick, and see if Pride can get up over you next season, Jason.
Yeah, we'll see. We've got to beat Brisbane City first, haven't we? It's been confirmed today.
Yeah. Yes, didn't that cause a bit of a stir? Anyway, let's move on. Thanks, boys.
Enjoy the finals.
Thank you.
This has been the Look Finance SEQFC preview show with thanks to Vilic Law. We will see you, if not at the grounds this weekend, we'll see you next year.